Now in this video lecture we are going to discuss linear and non-linear elastic behavior. Depending on the behavior of stress strain diagram, portions in the elastic region, mechanical properties in this region can be further classified as linear elastic properties, non-linear elastic properties. Linear elastic properties are classified under elastic category and they obey Hooke's law. It includes elastic strength, stiffness and resilience. Elastic strength, it corresponds to the highest stress at which the behavior of the material remains elastic. That is, the material can regain its original size and shape after removing the force. It cannot be measured accurately. That is, it is generally measured by the stress at the end point of proportionality, because beyond the end point plastic region starts. Therefore, the stress at the end of proportionality line, it is known as elastic strength. Stiffness, it is defined as the ability of the material to resist elastic deformation. In other words, materials having high stiffness show less elastic deformation. Now you see, Young's modulus or modulus of elasticity obtained for the slope of stress strain diagram is a measure of the stiffness. Greater the modulus of elasticity, the more stress is the material in the material and greater the stress required to produce a given strain. Now see, resilience. Resilience, it is also known as strain energy. It is the ability of the material to absorb energy when it is loaded with the elastic limit and give back the same energy when the load is removed. In a simple words, when we add the material from this point up to elastic deformation, the area under the curve, okay, the measure of the area under the curve in the elastic region is known as resilience. Modulus of resilience, the strain energy stored by the material per unit volume within the elastic limit is known as modulus of elasticity. So by using this relation mathematical, sigma s square divided by 2e, we can calculate modulus of resilience. So non-elastic properties, basically there are two properties, secant modulus and tangent modulus. So you see here, now this is the graph. So from this point a line is drawn, this line cuts this curve, stress strain curve. Now this is the straight line which is drawn from 0. So this straight line cuts this curve at point A. Now from this point A, draw one perpendicular on the stress axis, again draw one perpendicular on the strain axis. Okay, now draw the slope. So this is parallel to stress, therefore this is d sigma, and this line is parallel to strain axis, therefore it is d epsilon. So slope is equal to d sigma divided by d epsilon is equal to secant modulus. So this is the formula, E secant is equal to sigma divided by E, where sigma is equal to tan of theta. So when we consider this right angle triangle, so what is tan theta? Opposite side divided by adjacent side. So this side divided by this side, and therefore tan of theta is considered. Now tangent modulus. When the non-linearity of the curve is too much, secant modulus cannot be used, tangent modulus is used. Okay, now you consider the previous diagram, the same. Here the curve is not so linear. So when the curve is too much non-linear, okay, so in that condition instead of secant modulus, tangent modulus is used, same. So E tangent is equal to sigma divided by epsilon, sigma is equal to tan of theta. Okay. Now engineering stress means conventional stress, true stress and strains. True stress, how we can define? It is defined as the load acting on the particular specimen at any instant divided by cross sectional area of the specimen at that instant. So you see here, true stress, it is denoted by sigma dash is equal to force divided by instantaneous cross sectional area, that is A dash. So what we do in case of the conventional stress or engineering stress, we calculate as force divided by original cross sectional area, AO. But here instead of original cross sectional area, we consider the instantaneous cross sectional area. So it is a cylindrical specimen, so A dash is equal to pi by 4 d dash square. Okay. So conventional strain, so how it is calculated? Change in length divided by original length. Okay. So what is change in length? Sum of all the previous increment in the length at any instant. So here true strain is equal to epsilon dash is equal to summation of L1 minus L0 during the first instant. LO is the initial area, L1 is the instantaneous, LO is the initial length, LO is the initial length, L1 is the length at that instant. So L1 minus L0 divided by L0. So in the next instant, L2 minus L1 divided by L1 plus L3 minus L2 divided by L2 plus so on so on. So true strain is equal to epsilon dash, okay, integration where go from LO to LI dl divided by L. This is the standard formula. So true strain is equal to log of Li divided by LO, where Li is the length of the specimen at any instant of loading, LO is the original length, epsilon dash is the true strain or logarithmic strain. The following figure shows the comparison of true stress strain curve with the corresponding engineering stress strain curve. Okay, now you see here, if we draw the graph, okay, for the stress strain diagram, we consider stress along y-axis sigma and we consider strain along x-axis, that is epsilon. So up to the elastic limit, both true strain and engineering strain, they coincide. But after that you see this is the graph for engineering or conventional stress strain diagram, and this is the graph for true stress strain diagram. Okay. Oh,